Hi, second graders. Today we are going to read Chapter 9 of Gooney Bird Greene and the Room Mother. And guess what? This is the second to last chapter, so we must be nearing the climax of the story. I wonder what the climax might be. The part where lots of things happen. What are they kind of gearing up for? The play. Something big's going to happen. That's my prediction. All right, Chapter 9. It was the day before Thanksgiving vacation, the day of the pageant. The school janitor, Lester Ferrio, had used masking tape to attach the mural to the wall of the MultiPurpose Room, and he had set up folding chairs for the audience. At the back of the large room, a table covered with a yellow paper tablecloth held 2 large platters of cupcakes and 2 pitchers of lemonade. "These cupcakes are spectacular," Mrs. Pigeon had said when she opened the boxes that held them. "Look at this! Little turkeys and pilgrim hats on the frosting. How did she ever do that, Gooney Bird?" "She didn't do that," Gooney Bird replied. "You saw who brought them. You saw the name on the van. I think it's on the boxes, too." And here's a picture of the cupcakes. Creative catering. Beanie read from the lid of one box. "I thought the room mother was supposed to make the cupcakes herself," Tricia said. Gooney Bird shook her head. "I just told her to provide cupcakes. Remember the dialogue from when I told the story about getting the room mother? She asked what the room mother had to do, and I said, provide cupcakes. You all know what provide means. We don't even need to get out our dictionaries." "Well," Miss Pigeon said as she arranged the cupcakes on the platter, "she certainly did a good job of providing, didn't she? But I wish she'd brought them herself. I'd like to thank her." "She's coming to the pageant," Gooney Bird reassured her. And here there's like a little leaf that lets the reader know that there's a little bit of passage of time. And now in the afternoon, the guests were arriving. The second graders were all in the small adjoining room, peeking out, watching the chairs in the multi-purpose room fill up. "There's my mom," Tyrone said in an excited voice. "Look it! She's got such a cool dress on." "Mom," he called, "I'm back here." Tyrone's mother looked over with a grin and waved. "Shh," the other children said. "Nobody's supposed to see us yet." "This is the dressing room," Ben explained. "We're backstage. We have to be quiet. Hey," he added, "look, there's my mom." "My daddy came," Kiko said, peeking out. "He must have closed the store for the afternoon. And look, and there he is with my mom. And see, that's my auntie. Hello, Oba-chan," she called, and the woman waved and fluttered her fingers in a wave. Mrs. Pigeon had been at the door of the multi-purpose room greeting the guests. Now she came back to where the children were waiting. "I hear some giggling back here," she said with a smile. "Are you all ready?" she asked. "We'll start in a few minutes. Not quite everyone is here yet. The room mother hasn't arrived." "She said she might be a little late," Gooney Bird explained. "She said that we could start without her." "Oh, look," Gooney Bird pointed. "There's my mom. See, she's the one in jeans with the smiley face sweatshirt." She wiggled her fingers in a wave, and her mother waved back and took a seat. There was a sudden commotion at the door of the multi-purpose room, and several people got up from their seats to help. Malcolm looked and groaned. "Ugh, it's my mom," he said. "With the triplets." He covered his eyes. "I'm not going to look," he said. Miss Pigeon put her arm around Malcolm. She and the other children watched while the janitor and several others helped to maneuver the huge triple stroller through the doorway. "Are they asleep?" Malcolm asked, still hiding his eyes. Please, could they be asleep?" "Yes, they seem to be sleeping, Malcolm. It's okay. You can look. Don't worry," Miss Pigeon told them. "We won't even mind if they wake up. We like babies." "I love babies," whispered Felicia Ann. "I hope those triplets can wake up so I can hold them." "They always smell bad," Malcolm whispered back. He stuck out his tongue and crossed his eyes. And there's the picture. And then here's another little passage of time. It must be the principal. Mrs. Pigeon went up to the piano at the front of the multi-purpose room and played a few chords to make people stop talking. It was what she did in the classroom, and it always worked there. It worked here, too, with the grown-ups. They all became silent. Mr. Leroy walked to the front of the room. The multi-purpose room didn't have a stage, but he stood in front of the audience, wearing a necktie today with a plump turkey on it. He spoke in a very loud, clear voice, just the way Miss Pigeon had told the children that they should. The second graders listened from behind the cracked open door to their dressing room. "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen," Mr. Leroy said. "I'm delighted to see so many parents here today, and some grandparents I see, and even a few little brothers and sisters." "And an auntie," whispered Kiko. "Are your triplets brothers or sisters?" Felicia Ann asked Malcolm. "Shh," Malcolm said. "I'm not saying." "And perhaps our new room mother as well?" Mr. Leroy said in a cheerful voice, looking around the audience. "Would the second grade room mother like to stand?" Maybe she's a little shy, he went on when no one stood, but she did certainly provide wonderful refreshments, which we will enjoy after the performance. Speaking of the performance, I would like to mention that this is the 5th and final Thanksgiving pageant today. I watched the kindergarten children this morning, and they did quite a lively dance during which they gobbled like turkeys and flapped imaginary wings. It was a little noisier than I had expected, but we got it under control in a bit, and I think we actually learned quite a bit about how dangerous wing flapping can be. Actually, for those of you who heard about it and are fine and are worried, incidentally, little Chloe McAllister is going to be fine, nothing more than a fat lip. Mr. Leroy straightened his tie. After that, he went on. The 4th grade performed quite an impressive play about Captain Miles Standish, who arrived on the Mayflower and greeted an Indian Massoit who became his best friend. Unfortunately, Jason Carruthers and Jeffrey Hall, who were to play the roles of Miles Standish and Massoit, are both absent today because there seems to be a stomach virus making the rounds. The other 4th graders, though, did a great job of explaining what the play would have been like if the leading characters had been available. Next, the 1st grade had worked very hard on learning all the words of the traditional Thanksgiving song We Gather Together, and they sang it with remarkable enthusiasm for the audience. Unfortunately, their teacher had not taken into account how difficult the lines, "He chastens and hastens his will to make known, the wicked oppressing now cease from distressing," would be for people whose front teeth had recently fallen out. And I believe that it was 14 of the 18 first graders, but their gusto made up for their pronunciation. Then finally, just an hour ago, we had the 3rd grade's very colorful reenactment of the first Thanksgiving dinner. The 3rd grade is so fortunate that one father provided large cardboard cartons, one for each performer to wear, with their heads, of course, emerging from the tops of cartons, each decorated as a type of food: squash, corn, potatoes, and the like. The 3rd graders got most of the way through a recitation and demonstration of the various courses of dinner. I think actually that it might have been the food descriptions that brought an onslaught of the stomach virus mid-performance. So we had some unfortunate events during which we had to extricate several children quickly from their cartons. We ended up with a very slippery floor. Both of the DeMarco twins threw up, Barry Tuckerman announced to the other children. Identical throw-ups. I heard the janitor telling Muriel Holloway. "Oh, no," wailed Kiko. "Shh," Gooney Bird said. "But our hard-working custodian, Lester Ferrillo, has taken care of that," Mr. Leroy went on. "And with the help of some air freshener, I think we're in good shape for our final performance of the day for Ms. Pigeon's 2nd grade. Thank you for coming. I see someone else is just arriving. Is that another stroller?" He peered toward the back. "My goodness, so many vehicles today." "Lester Ferrillo will help you in. There are some seats in the back. Please make yourself comfortable." Mr. Leroy gestured toward the chairs in the back as more people entered. Then he turned to the piano and said, "Mrs. Pigeon, it's all yours." Miss Pigeon smiled. She played the verse of We Gather Together to call the crowd to attention and to create a Thanksgiving mood. Then she nodded to Gooney Bird, who was in the doorway, waiting for her cue to enter. End of chapter.